The Steel Penguin fires off the Drill Peck. Drill Peck isn't quite lethal. We see the aggressive pivot and get yet more farm on Murkrow. Murkrow has a whole heap of energy. What wants to tank it? Out comes an electric type. You might think this will be a good wall to the energy. However, Toxtricity, not known for its bulk, foul play. Near picks up the one-hit KO. We're able to peck farm down afterwards. Out comes Venusaur. Oh boy, Venusaur going to be straight in and straight out. Welcome back to the channel. Holy... Today, do I have the absolute pleasure of shoutcasting none other than the one and the only Kiengiv. If you're newer to the game and you don't know who this guy is, let me tell you, he is like the godfather of Pokemon Go PvP. He was one of the very first and very biggest Pokemon Go PvP content creators in the early seasons. He actually played a World Championship match against Pokémon. I think it was in like 2019. Back in the days when the game looked nothing like this, you used to tap your phone and the circle used to get bigger and bigger. It was a madness. Without Kiengiv, who I believe actually went by the name Pogo King back in them days, I wouldn't even have my YouTube channel. The only reason I started this channel was to document my attempt to become the first trainer to reach Legend only using Shadow Pokemon. That was way back in Season 7, or 2021 if you prefer. And let me tell you, my first attempt was pretty bad. I didn't even hit Expert. I ended the season on 2,728 Elo. Having a very competitive nature, I'm not someone that likes to give up or quit on anything. So I thought, do you know what? If at first you don't succeed, we're going to try and try again. So if you are someone that hasn't hit Legend yet and you're looking to reach Legend, the things you need to work on are firstly, game mechanics, energy management and knowledge of the counts. And let me tell you, if you want to learn them things, there is nowhere better to go than go watch Kieng play. I used to watch him on Twitch absolutely daily. I had them notifications on, regardless of what I was doing. If Kieng was streaming, you better believe I was lurking in that chat and trying to soak up all the knowledge I could. Whilst always trying to be knowledgeable in my shoutcast, I think my shoutcasts are somewhat crazy, somewhat chaotic, but hopefully entertaining. Kieng just has such a way with words. He's so cool, calm and collective, and always able to portray the message he wants to get across, which is something, despite me posting on YouTube for almost 4 years now, it's still something I'm trying to achieve myself. Now you know exactly who this guy is. If you aren't subscribed to him, I don't know what you're doing. His YouTube's linked in the title and his Twitch is linked down below. Make sure you go check him out, and I promise you, you'll become a better battler. Today, he's going to be showcasing the new and improved Ultimate Glass Cannon, the very attack-weighted Shadow Murkrow here in the Open Great League. This intro has gone on for far too long, so without any further ado, let's get into the battles. And in Game 1, we are off to a good start, seeing a battle of Dark types very much in Kieng's favour. The opponent safe switch into Chimecho, and they are completely core broken. Murkrow fires off the foul play, much to my disappointment, forcing the opponent's first Protect Shield. Murkrow is lightning fast this season, already the next foul play, and very quickly forces the opponent all shields down. The team Kieng's opting for today is somewhat of an ABB team, where Murkrow will be the only fighter in the lead position with two things weak to fight in the back. However, actually ABA weak to electric as well, so if we see an electric type in the lead, I'll be fascinated to see how we try and overcome that. If you yet to see Shadow Murkrow in action, trust me, that thing is hella bloody glassy. If you see a fairy, you'll be crying, so we've actually got two very good fairy type answers in the back. The opponent sends back out Shiftry. Shiftry gets greeted with the Rock Tomb. Shiftry also Paper Fin, straight in and straight out. Lapras is revealed to be their third. Cradily fires off the Rock Tomb. The opponent already had enough, and we're off to a very quick 1-0 start. GG's, and thanks for playing. Heading into the next battle, Kieng's going to lead his Shadow Murkrow into Weezing. Speaking of fairy types, here is said fairy. Fairy Winds may as well look like charms as they're doing crazy damage. Kieng, a master of the counts, knows this can only be a brutal swing that is resisted. Kieng going to bank the Drill Peck. We'll see the safe switch into Cradily. If you're going to use one of these Shadow Glass Cannons, that is exactly what you should do. You should always look to try and bank a charge move. You're going to be able to win charge attack priority against more or less everything. The opponent sends Charizard into a loaded Cradily. Trainer! Holy, what was you expecting? Rock Tomb, double super effective. Charizard straight in and straight out. The opponent sends out Greninja. Kieng, recognising Cradily, has still got plenty of life left in it. Invests the Protect Shield and goes to the correct one Acid. And the Rock Tomb for optimal fast move timing. Rock Tomb forced the Protect Shield, and here comes Murkrow. Murkrow fires off the Drill Peck. Drill Peck forces the opponent's final Protect Shield. Back out comes Weezing. Weezing looks for the farm down, unable to get it before the departing Drill Peck's reach. Kieng goes to the undercharge, and I love that play. The thought process behind it is he wants to farm it down with Empoleon, as opposed to concede yet more farm to Greninja. Empoleon able to Metal Sound farm down, just Greninja remains. Kieng farms up, makes a savage catch, back onto Cradily, and that is going to be game over for this opponent. Aerial Ace, I actually forgot that thing. Even learned Aerial Ace, I gained access to it a few seasons ago. Rarely seen, but I guess some nice coverage for stuff like fighting types. But regardless, Kieng able to take the match with a shield in tow. Heading into the next battle. Kieng leads Shadow Murkrow into Wigglytuff. Oh boy, you couldn't ask for a worse lead. This is kind of how the team's intended to work. We've got two anti-fairies in the back. We say switch into Cradily, baiting out Marowak. I'd rather be Cradily in this matchup, to be honest, whilst our acids are hitting for resisted. The Rock Tomb does absurd damage. The opponents give us an energy lead. And despite us being a grass type, we're only taking neutral from these fire spins as of course rock resist, whereas grass does take super effective from fire. The opponent go all in on Marowak, desperate to keep that super positive alignment. They go for the Bone Club, recognise would reach another Rock Tomb and are forced to dump yet further energy. But Kieng, like, if I can get switch advantage, I'm going to take it. The opponent not wanting to lose Marowak, save it, pivot back out into Wigglytuff, and here comes Empoleon. Empoleon makes a very quick work of Wigglytuff's remaining HP, getting a massive Metal Sound farm down. Marowak re-enters the arena, a Pokemon's on it, calls the GOAT. If I'm being brutally honest, this opponent's had it more of a liability than the greatest of all time. Out comes Altaria. Altaria greeted with the Shadow Drill Peck. Quick switch back into Murkrow. Murkrow going to reach his own Drill Peck. And have no doubt from this very attack-weighted Pokemon, that is going to be all she wrote. GG's that opponent. Heading into the next battle. Hopefully we don't see a Fairy type in the lead for the third consecutive battle. But of course we do. But at least this one is running Bubble. It's not actually running any Fairy type quick moves. Murkrow stays in, farms up, makes a very nice double resisted Ice Beam catch onto Empoleon, sneaking a Metal Sound in the process. The opponent continues to stay in. Kieng gonna heavily overfarm, fire off the first Drill Peck. Drill Peck will do decent damage in this matchup now. It has been buffed. The opponent actually chooses to shield, and questions now begin to be asked, and what the heck's hiding behind this very bulky bunny? Azumarill landed the play rough. That is the correct move to throw if you are in this matchup, as it is only single resisted, and to be honest, landed for quite substantial damage, rocking us deep in the red health range. Kieng, undeterred, reaches two further Drill Pecks. The opponent actually double shielded Azumarill, still get hit with a further Drill Peck. Then we see a very nice sniper with Murkrow, and the opponent is now at the mercy of our very attack-weighted Murkrow. Out comes Toxtricity. You might think that an electric type should do a good job of walling a flyer, but this foul play lands. Heavy damage. We're able to get the resisted. Peck farm down afterwards. Out comes Venusaur, and that is going to be a full-on Murkrow sweep. GG's, and thanks for playing. I think someone forgot to tell Murkrow that foul play got reworked a few seasons ago, becoming cheaper and not doing as much damage. Holy cow, that was crazy. Heading into the next battle. We see a battle of glass cannons as Murkrow stares down Scizor. If you're wondering just how attack weighted this little crow is, well, Scizor used to having his way with CMP ties, but not today, trainer. You can see we've got a monstrous attack. It's actually higher than more common glass cannons we used to see in like Primeape, Zapdos, and even Greninja. As Kieng's opponent was opting for the regular Scizor, as opposed to the Shadow, he was able to survive 5 bullet punches and a resisted Night Slash. Rather than concede farm, we see the save switch into Empoleon. The Empoleon save switch is answered by Jellicent. Okay, that Drill Peck's actually kind of impressive. It won't quite two-shot, but will leave the opponent low. I was a big fan of the Steel Penguin for the one season when Steel Wing was a good move. And in matchups against stuff like Jellicent, it was super awkward as Drill Peck just didn't hit hard enough, and the buff this season really does seem to give it the firepower it needs. Kieng making a call that clearly the opponent didn't have a fighting type, because if they did, they probably would have brought it in against the Steel Penguin, so opts to 2-shield Cradily. In fairness, we've still got a small amount of health left on Murkrow, but it is energy dry, so probably the best use of it is as a potential sack swap. This looks like an incredibly tough game to win. That Scizor near at like half health, so we're definitely going to have to land a Rock Tomb. Hence Kieng's continuing to overfarm. The opponent tried to sack Jellicent. Catch attempt unsuccessful. We go for the catch, but end up sniping. This might actually be bad for us. It might give Furret the farm down it needs to reach a charge move. Oh, that is heartbreaking. The opponent gets the perfect farm down, leaving with a charge move, and this one, unfortunately, it does end in heartbreaking defeat.
Valiant effort, you can't win them all. GG's to that opponent. Heading into the next battle. We see a battle of flying types, and I've got a sneaky feeling we are not going to appreciate the Kentucky Fried Chicken Bird of Death's oppressive incinerate damage. Incinerate melting through our HP. If you are going to use a glass cannon, it's paramount you throw out good timing. Of course, Kieng doesn't let me down. He's the guy who taught me to throw out good timing, ironically. So if you're using a 2-turn move into a 5-turn move, you want to throw out either 2 or 7. He threw at 7. The opponent pivots into Stunfisk, and it's very, very nice to bait this thing out as we are ABA weak to electric. Another nice play we saw was Kieng not panicking, despite the Thunder Shocks looking more like Volt Switches or Charms. We banked the charge move before hard punishing this Unova Stunfisk with our Cradily. We should be outside of Mod Bomb range as long as we've got a good IV. Mine would survive from here, and it's like a rank 50 or something. Kieng able to survive, looks to fire off the Grass Knot, and the opponent makes a very high risk, high reward play, catching it back onto Talonflame, where it is of course double resisted. Kieng, undeterred, looks to put use of that energy. Drill Peck removes Talonflame from the field of play, and out comes Mandibuzz. Murkrow still not done. Gonna reach the Drill Peck. Mandibuzz, one of the bulkiest mon in the meta. Holy, that is almost a 2-shot. Well, I actually think it would be a 2-shot in fairness. Even the Pecks were massive heading up this Mandibuzz, and they've certainly found themselves in Hydro Cannon range. Kieng sends out the Steel Penguin with that magical 2-0 shield advantage, and this is just game over. The opponent fire off the Dark Pulse, which is the hard hitting move. Kieng still with 2 shields. I'd probably consider shielding here. Kieng does shield up. I was expecting the Aerial Ace bait. The opponent falls in the Dark Pulse. Make the pivot back into Stunfisk. Stunfisk going to be straight in and straight out. Hydro Cannon picks up the 1-hit KO. Back out comes Mandibuzz. Kieng farms up, returns the favour from that catch earlier, saying anything you can do, I can do too, trainer. Able to Metal Sound farm down and take that game. I see a lot of people saying the competition in GBL is getting better. How the hell was that a rank 2 battle? In the next battle, we see Drifblim in the lead position, a fantastic lead. But this is Shadow and Shadow Crime. I am almost certain a non-stab Icy Wind will do all our HP. So Kieng going to invest the first Protect Shield, blocking upset Icy Wind. Have a likewise, have no doubt, a -1 foul play will certainly get the job done. The Peck Zone have got this balloon below the half health range. The first foul play forced the Protect Shield. Then we make a very nice double resisted Ice Wind catch onto the Penguin. The Empoleon Say Switch goes unanswered as out comes Lapras. Regardless of whatever moveset they're running, they are going to be fully walled. Lapras actually has access to a legacy move that's also been buffed this season, and that is Dragon Pulse. And I'm actually really tempted to try it on the Ultra League. For the first time ever, you'll be able to hit stuff like Jellicent for neutral. Probably isn't the right move, but I think it might be kind of fun. The opponent fire off the Skull Bash that didn't look all that resisted, removing the Penguin from the field of play and also vamping up their defense. The defense buff does mean they're going to reach the Departing Sparkle and Aria onto our Cradily, but in turn feed us more energy. Back out comes the balloon. The balloon instantly greeted with the Rock Tomb. Rock Tomb forced to protect shield, and this balloon is going to be forced to dump energy. Looks like Kieng thinking about putting it all on Murkrow as Murkrow looks to close the show. Murkrow with a shield advantage, it should be pretty good. We've already seen this thing hits insanely hard. Murkrow able to peck farm down. Lapras nothing more than a sacrificial swap. Out comes Cradily. Cradily might be thick, but have no doubt double drill peck. Easily going to knock out the first one. Eases half their health. The second will be moving them from the field of play. Lapras is going to get peck farm down, and King IV is going to be emerging victorious. GG's. Heading into the next battle. We lead Shadow Murkrow into Galarian Zapdos. This looks like David versus Goliath. We're small, but we are mighty, and they are enormous. This should be a good matchup, as our pecks are hitting for super effective, but their neutral counters were chunking. The opponent safe switch into Pidgeot and some mad ABA flying strategy, and here comes Empoleon. Empoleon going to fire off the Hydro Cannon, forcing a Protect Shield. Can Shadow Empoleon survive a Brave Bird? Let's find out. Oof, just about. This now puts the opponent in such an awkward spot. Are they going to 2-shield to flip switch? No, they're not. Down goes Pidgeot, and out comes Alolan Golem. Holy crap, that was not what I was expecting to see in the back. Kieng wastes no time, goes straight for the Grass Knot, and the question now is, does the opponent respect the damage? They do not. Double super effective. Get that Golem off my screen. Out comes Zapdos. Zapdos looks to the counter farm down. Cradily says no, reach the Rock Tomb. Rock Tomb will be forcing the opponent's final Protect Shield. Right on cue, we give the opponent that wham, bam, combo play, serving up the Big Mac and the fries, and Drill Peck is going to be all she wrote. GG's. Heading into the next battle. Kiengiv leads Shadow Murkrow into Gastrodon, the very annoying RPS slug, a fantastic lead as flying double resist ground. If the opponent farm up to a potential water pulse, we'll be obliged to respect it, but this can only be a body slam. Whilst body slam has been buffed this season, we do actually tank that reasonably well. The opponent then pivots into Malamar, which is somewhat of a core breaker for our backline. This is essentially where the team wants to see it. Oh my days, that drill peck was absurd damage. Kieng gonna fire off the second drill peck, looking to remove Malamar from the field of play. The opponent invests that protect shield. I think Kieng here has to match, farm down and keep alignment, as we don't want Gastrodon anywhere near our steel type. Out comes Alolan Sandslash, attempting to powder snow farm down, but Murkrow is still not done, even reaches to depart in foul play. This is still quite scary, to be honest, as Drill Run, of course, will be super effective. Kieng going to invest the final protection. Opponent fire off the Drill Run. Attempt to make a catch attempt unsuccessful, and we send out Cradily. Despite having the correct alignment, this is still quite a tricky game. We not only need to remove this Gastrodon, we need to leave as minimal farm for Sandslash, or leave enough health to survive the powders as we reach a Rock Tomb. Kieng fires off the Grass Knot. Can we reach a Rock Tomb? At the return in Sandslash. Oh, we cannot. Can we Metal Sound farm down? Oh, it's also a no, and that is not 1 HP. I believe we're doubled up. But that is a charge attack priority, meaning the opponent can invest that Protect Shield. They're now receiving the energy for the Drill Run, and unfortunately, this game, it does end in heartbreaking defeat. GG's to that opponent, nicely played. Heading into the next battle, oh my days, Ampharos, we are ABA weak to this thing. Kieng say switches into his only electric counter. Huh? Well, we are core broken by Ampharos, and clearly the opponent is core broken by Cradily. They send a ground type into a grass type, which is absolutely ridiculous. They also give us a huge energy lead. Kieng goes for back-to-back grass knot, 1 force to protect shield, 1 knocks out, and just like that, Kiengiv is back in the game. As we've got a shield advantage, I'd probably consider shielding this. Kieng agrees. We've both got the same idea, thinking this is probably our only way of getting rid of Ampharos. We shield up the Brutal Swing, 1 Acid, and the Rock Tomb. Rock Tomb force the opponent all shields down. We then pivot into the Penguin and essentially look to sacrifice it. Whilst the non-stop Brutal Swing didn't do too much. What? No. I was going to say the Volt Switches will tear through our HP. The opponent goes to the classic, you switch, I switch, and send out the Fairy into a Steel type. I am so confused. The opponent sent a ground type into our grass type. They send the Fairy into our Steel type, and despite seeing a team that had something that completely core breaks us, Kieng takes a very strange dub to end today's video. GG's, and thanks for playing. That is now 2 consecutive uploads, but the final battle has honestly confused me. I'm still quite confused now and struggling to speak. However, what an absolute honour it was to shoutcast the one and only Kiengiv on the home of Shadow Pokemon. A huge thank you to the battle submission, and shout out to one of the OGs and the GOAT for bringing us some insane Shadow Murkrow gameplay. So if you're enjoying the content, smash that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing. If you like your battles featured on my channel, a link to a battle submission form is down below. And as always, a huge thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.